The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
So much news, so much macro news. We're going to dive right in. Elon Musk says, and he spoke with North American Bitcoin miners, North American, keep that in mind, and they committed to publish current and planned renewable usage. What are we talking about? ESG. We want the green seal of approval for Mr. Elon Musk himself. How is he going to do that? Well, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Mr. Saylor followed up on Musk's tweet saying he hosted a meeting between Tesla CEO and some Bitcoin miners that led to the formation of the Bitcoin Mining Council. That's awesome and crazy. So Musk and Saylor started up the Bitcoin Mining Council, which means that there's probably going to be a seal of approval for them, which means the ones that are approved by them, the stocks are probably going to go up. And guess what? We're already in most of them, which is fantastic, which will promote sustainability. Yesterday, Michael Saylor said, yesterday I was pleased to host it with Mr. Elon Musk, and the leading Bitcoin miners, North American miners, have agreed to form the Bitcoin Mining Council to promote energy usage, transparency, and accelerate sustainability initiatives worldwide. I was immediately thinking of CLSK, but they're still really not known as like one of the big dogs in the business. Probably their fault, right? They still haven't even been totally transparent with exactly what they got going on. Remember, that was my last question's like, how many buildings do you guys even have? Where's the pictures of them? That was always my biggest scare for Mara and Riot, is just like these random pictures they'll put up. To me, I still think they're like the same company magically. I don't know. I think this might help. And I think it'll be easier to get rips off these. Make more money for everybody. Fantastic. Execs from Argo Blockchain. We did a video on them. BlockCap. Haven't heard of them. Core Scientific. Haven't heard of them. Galaxy Digital Headquarters. Haven't heard of them either. So we need to look those three up. But then we got Hive Blockchain. Did a video on them. Hut 8 Mining. Did a video on them. Marathon. Riot. And that's the only ones he listed there, all right? Are you going to go after Mara Riot? I don't know. I still think we got the other ones that are smaller, like the Hut 8, the Hive, and Argo. I'm pretty sure all three of those are already ESG. I doubt that Marathon and Riot could prove they are unless it's photoshopped, which they probably can. Let's come out with a fake one. Yeah, see, we were 100% ESG. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Hut 8, Hive, and Argo are. I know ones like Hydroelectric, they just all seem to be on the ESG slant. So I think once those come out as like the ones Elon Musk approves and puts his stamp on with Mr. Saylor, zippity doo dah day, as long as Bitcoin and crypto keeps up, I think we're going to be totally fine with those. I'm really excited about this. Imagine if another company we find out is talking to Mr. Saylor about trying to get in. Now we know which one. We got the list to buy right in front of us. Moving on from there, personally, Mr. Ray Dalio said, I'd rather have Bitcoin than a bond. If you don't know who Ray Dalio is, he's real like old school. He's more like hard asset, like bond guy, even gold stuff, anti-crypto-y stuff. He's coming out now and just said, personally, I'd rather have a Bitcoin than a bond. So he's saying the bond market's tanked, the whole financial system, blah, blah, blah. At least he's open, right? At least his mind is open. That's great. So how did Bitcoin do today? Well, that article from Elon came out and we were sitting at like, I don't know, 35,000. You know, I was still thinking we could probably hit around 30. We still could. But it jumped us maybe about like 7% up or something, up to 39,000. It actually zipped all the way to like 43, but it zipped right back down real fast. It matters where you're chilling, where you got money involved with it, like a VWAP, you know, the volume weighted average area in here. So if you go back to what was this, like end of the year last year, I think, maybe beginning of this year, we've got a lot of volume kind of where we're at, in between like 30,000 and 40. You know, I think we've got the most still chilling in there. We're going to go over a lot of amazing charts here in a second, but I still think to get confirmation of bull, we've got to be up at like 45, 44, probably 44, and consolidate at least a little bit before I totally believe that the drama is over. The FUD is completely over. Regardless, if you're long crypto and you still think we got at least 6 months, I think one of the best places right now are either get into these small ones we've been doing videos on. Yep. You still haven't dove into them. You refuse to do it. Then buy these easier ones that are listed right here in front of us. Argo, HUD8, Hive, go down the line. Divide it evenly. There you go. That's your crypto exposure for you. Bitcoin sizing the market. I went through this whole Goldman Sachs investment research. They do their homework. Goldman Sachs does their homework. That's one reason they are pretty successful. They're not going to waste their money, though, on something that they don't see a big macro picture on, right? If they thought Bitcoin was only going to be cool for 2, 3 to 6 to 9 months, even 2 years, they probably wouldn't touch it. Why would they even let it into their brain? They wouldn't. This has got to be coming from the top, because finally Mr. Buffett is being real about it. He finally opened his mind to looking at it, right? And he is switching positions. Goldman Sachs as a whole is even switching their positions on it. Come to my website if you want to look at a lot of these graphs. There is a ton in here, a ton of great graphs and information. I'll go over some specific ones below. But they even break down Litecoin, Uniswap, Bitcoin Cash, XMR, Algo. It's crazy, but this is all Goldman Sachs research. That should open up your mind to more macro, right? If you can't figure out if crypto's going to do well in the next coming future, follow the big boys. Okay, just do it. Bitcoin's biggest bear, there's always the biggest bear out there trying to be cool, the hipster thing, disagree just to be cool, to stick out. This is just kind of an article here I want to go over. They're basically saying, technically, Bitcoin is not a currency because technically you can't touch it. It's not actually a store of value. Some coins, all right? Some coins, yeah, they really are worthless. Dogecoin? I don't know. Maybe it will be backed by Tesla someday, right? Maybe they'll somehow put in a percentage share of a Tesla share into Dogecoin. I don't know. Maybe Elon will come out with a Tesla coin. That might be the smarter move. It's probably going to run on something, though, right? He's probably not just going to make it from the ground up. He's probably going to run it on XRP, maybe something like that. I don't know. Maybe Dogecoin. I don't know. Does it have anything I'm missing? But look at this. Today's Bitcoin prices reflect some probability that cryptos could achieve greater adoption in the future. Where are we at today? We're at the gray dotted line here. Right there. We're only at like a 15-degree angle going up. After this curve of successful adoption, okay, we are going to multiply like crazy. Just a rough guess, looking at this, 5, 10x. Just from adoption from others, price goes up. Now, failed adoption will happen. To be real, it will. And then you've got the curve that's going to kind of follow it, but then curve in. We have time. I think we have time. This is from Goldman Sachs. They're saying we're just at the successful adoption thing. They're part of that, right? Goldman Sachs is part of this successful adoption where the green is finally coming out. The super bears and super people not talking about it ever, they're finally talking about it. I love that graph right there. Momentum signals for Bitcoin. The red dot reflects Wednesday's intraday low. Black dot reflects current price. This is a momentum signal. Think of it like velocity, flow, maybe even some inertia in there. Want to get technical about it? Why am I showing you this? Because you can see tons of flow at the beginning of the year. We were rallying like crazy. A lot of stuff was rallying like crazy. But that was when the most flow was getting pushed through and into this, all right? What's amazing to me, though, is we broke, let's call it the average line here of 0. If we're using 0 as a base for the average momentum through crypto, where are we at? Like this red dot-ish, but we're going up to the white dot. But if you draw a horizontal line from this red dot here over to right here, which is going to be January, February, March, May, so like March of last year, somewhere around there, what happened then? We had the big market crash. Well, that's basically where the flow is matching from last week on crypto, which usually means we're stopped because we rejected it. We rejected that horizontal line by going back up. Now we're that white dot. So that's fantastic. You can chart flow metrics. Isn't that insane? I love it. The footprint of short-term Bitcoin holders is fairly small. This is great, okay? Long-term investors of Bitcoin make up 55% of the coins owned. That's big. Short-term, less than a week, it's only 4%. So like, you know, the Robinhood bros, okay? About 4%. Every couple days they gotta jump onto some other crack, right? What's the crack for today? We got cheeseburgers or what? What are we gonna get? Well, the medium termers are at like 41%. This looks totally healthy. And they're saying medium term is 1 week to 1 year. I was kind of surprised to see that there's over 55% of the money in crypto has been in it for over a year. That's real interesting to me. Bitcoin whales versus small owners of crypto. The whales in crypto currently still make up 28% of the coins held, which is huge. 14% of the Bitcoin supply is held by small owners. 11% likely exchanges, custodians, and miners. It goes from there. More macro thesis, all right? We are going to switch gears and talk about something which is pretty interesting to me. So there is a battery ETF. A battery as in like all the components to build batteries, right? You need the lithium, the copper, all the metals, whatever you need, right? In this battery ETF, there's companies such as, of course, number 2 is Tesla. All right, NIO's actually in there. LG, they make the physical batteries. Glencore, Samsung, Panasonic. There's some miners in here. Plug Power's in here. Anything to do with battery technology, the biggest consumers or makers or producers in it are kind of in here. You got kind of worldwide exposure to it too. You got China, Unicore, all sorts of stuff. Anyways, we got an ETF, right? You can play stuff like this. So check it out. Whenever we see stuff running together for a long time, right? And then one finally goes up and one kind of goes down or just doesn't do anything, there's usually that Jaws effect where they end up matching. That rubber band, you pull it and finally it snaps back. I think we're going to get that again because it's been proven here with copper. All right, battery is the orange line here. See it? And copper is the pink line. And as you can see what's going on, they're far apart. Look what happened last time they were far apart. You see what happened? The gap closed. Well, now BAT is low and needs to catch up to copper. Not only is copper needed for electronic vehicles, though, it's also needed for housing and infrastructure, which are two huge things that definitely America needs right now. Housing shortage is still going on. We're still in that moment. So I think BAT is probably going to try to catch up. All right, something to keep in mind. Start looking at this thing. I think it's getting ready. BAT trades at a discount to the S&P 500, which I thought was interesting too. The forward PE ratio. Imagine that. So imagine an ETF that trades at a discount to the S&P 500. Remember I've been talking about how the S&P and all those big futures are kind of blown out? So I'm like, I ain't touching nothing unless it's a SPAC or a dirt cheap crypto. This is why. How can their biggest holding in BAT, remember, is Tesla, and it's still trading at a discount? Look at this graph. It's pretty crazy to me. This is a neat one here, one we haven't talked about, but it's KWEB. You heard of that? Chinese tech. And then we got QQQ, which is another big tech one we talk about. Again, we've got the Jaws thing, all right? They usually fly together. When one goes the opposite way, eventually the rubber band and snap back to each other. We got the same thing. I won't get into why today, but there's always macro factors going on with China and the rest of the world. Just is what it is. It's probably never going to change. But look, we can take a look at the chart. Do you think that big tech's going to go anywhere soon but up? I'll let you decide that. But to me, this chart is saying that they need to match up again, because right now they definitely don't. They're way out of proportion. KWEB is still in a downtrend line, like you probably put it in the burrito, right? Put a burrito around it. Hopefully when you squeeze it, get the red salsa verde coming out the top. It looks like we're getting close. We've had a long stretch away from it. How long has it been? Since like the beginning of the year, dude. Like January. Like January 1st. Chinese tech has gone down. You know, it's harder to import stuff. We got all that kind of stuff going on. But dude, you don't think we're going to be buying from China anytime soon for the processors and all the program stuff we need for the vehicles in America still? We're still waiting on them for that. We're not like hurrying up and making a processor factory in America, which we should be doing. Where's it going to come from? China. Okay. I don't see how this is not going to go up. Just watch this thing. Draw a burrito around it. Put the tortilla. Wrap it. Steam it first. That way it's nice and tight. When the stuff starts breaking loose, you might want to pull the trigger. Just something to watch. I love this thought. Okay. Is Fang, right? The big five-ish. Big stocks, right? Amazon, Google, stuff like that. Facebook, y'all be on Facebook. Is it now considered a value stock? It's kind of blew my mind. I started thinking, I was like, yeah, because we've been talking about that lately. Like, dude, what are real value stocks nowadays? Because value stocks are usually looked at stuff that's, dividend aristocrats, companies that have been around for 50 years, blah, 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 blah. We think we can put our money there and be safe. And I keep telling you, nothing is safe right now. I don't know. This brings up a real good point. If I were to be in something that I considered super safe play, ain't going nowhere, I wouldn't be Facebook just because I don't like it. Do I think Apple's ever going anywhere or Amazon? Honestly, I probably have more faith in Amazon than any of them. Amazon is actually, they're going to be buying MGM Studios. That was a headline I forgot to put on here, but MGM Studios, that's massive. So now they're going to get into real blockbuster movies instead of really terrible ones that they've been putting on Amazon Prime that they need to dump all those. That's fantastic. Something to think about, though. It's also charted. It's also absolutely charted here for you. Basically showing you've got a 24-month forward PE ratio premium at a discount compared to the S&P 500. Remember how we were talking above there too, above just a second ago, that the S&P and the futures are too high, right? I've been saying that. A lot of the big boy money, they took it and they put it into S&P because it's their fail-safe, it's their new value to store money or maybe gain a little bit. Why wouldn't they just put it into Fang though? Because Fang's actually at a discount even compared to there. I should blow your mind a little bit. Meet the electric team behind the new PBS documentary on electric aviation. If you don't know what PBS is, I actually had to think about it. I know PBS. What is it? I can't remember. The reason I don't remember because, dude, I haven't had cable television, like regular TV, for a real long time, right? I've always just been the dude that I either had video games or movies, DVDs, Blu-ray or whatever. And then the digital versions. I've had a computer hooked up to a TV for 15 years now, right? Just been that kind of dorky kid, I guess. But PBS, anyways, going back to it, what is PBS? I believe it's kind of non-profity documentary stuff, but it's on regular television. I honestly don't even know how to watch it now. Can we watch it online? Is there like an app on the Xbox for PBS? I don't know. I want to find out. What are we talking about? Because they're doing a big, huge documentary on the flying taxis. Joby Aviation, Kitty Hawk, EHang, and Elroy Air, along with Wing Invaders, NASA researchers, scientists. Anyways, they've got a big old thing coming out about it. I want to watch it. Can someone tell me how I'm supposed to watch PBS? I don't have cable TV. Can I watch it online and hook it up to the TV or something? I don't know. Regardless, this could get a cool group interested in Joby Aviation. I doubt they do this whole thing without mentioning the fact that, by the way, you can invest in Joby. How are they not going to talk about it? That's a big deal. They just went to the stock market. This person is involved. Dude, remember this? Ariane supersonic planes, the one we thought was going to go SPAC, Well, there's a bunch of articles coming out saying they're basically 100% put. They're gonzo. Everything is tanked. They're just blowing the company up. What? It makes no sense to me. I haven't specifically read or heard or seen anything that 100% says that in concrete. It's all loose things like this. Currently financial environment, or the current financial environment, appropriate steps. They basically said it was hard for them getting enough money, and they only needed, what was it, like, I don't know, like 4 billion or something? 4 billion to get started, and they were having trouble with it, but nothing 100% ever said that they were just killing it. But all these articles are titled that way, so watch it. This could just be a play of them trying to put their thumb on SPAC bros' foreheads and be like, we need the 4 billion in the pipe. Give us more pipe. I don't know. Could be just start drama. I don't know. I'm just not 100% sold that it's totally tanked. There's so much money in this. Like, dude, NASA, everybody's backing this thing. I don't know. Do you think it's really, they're just going to dump it all? Someone's bound to either pick it up with the research, the plane. They got everything. I don't know. Just don't totally write this off as not going SPAC. I could still see this coming out. Did I miss something? Egypt's largest bank, joins Ripple network for cross-border payments. Man, do y'all remember 4 months ago-ish, Ripple was coming out as being the one that all the banks were like, we hate you. Remember that? That was right when we were getting on the humble stock that was gonna run on XRP, right? The brother and sister, however you want to say it. And it got real cheap. It was like 23 cents, I think it got down to. The cool kids were buying it real cheap. But now it seems like the big banks are coming out and being like, oh yeah, we're going to use them. What do you think made those articles that came out before that were like the banks hate them and so they tanked, and now they're all coming out saying that? Maybe the banks bought the dip? Maybe that was it. I don't know. Interesting. We need to watch that though, because if banks do really start using them like this article saying right here in Egypt, that's massive. That's absolutely huge, okay? All banks going to be running through that with their digital crypto could run? What if all banks started running in the background of XRP or Ripple or whatever? Dude, this could be crazy. Capital calls Congress seems relaxed over SPACs. Thank God, are we talking about SPACs? I miss talking about SPACs, man. I'm just trying to focus on getting you guys some money, though. Sometimes you got to pivot, right? Regardless, this article just hit Roosters. All right, Roosters came out. They said, do no harm. SPACs can do no harm. There are many ways the SPAC boom could end unhappily, but government intervention probably isn't one of them. Yes. Remember all that FUD where they're like, the government's going to come in and they're really dangerous because they're the safest investment in the world. It's been a long time, dude. It's been 3 months. SPAC FUD. Don't forget about SPACs. I hope y'all are still chilling, right? Y'all know the plays. We all know the cool kid ones. We already know what's going to rip. We just got to keep holding. If you're already out, don't forget, because guess what? No one is talking about SPACs right now other than these little tiny little actual positive articles we're getting like this one. We're getting little drips. Goldman is still backing them. Goldman is still putting up hundreds of millions of dollars on these things for a reason too. Follow the flow. Did you notice I don't have any sort of advertisements around these videos? I don't want to waste anyone's time. All I ask that you just help share this video. Just like it, subscribe it. We'll see y'all there tomorrow. Take care.
Oh, check out this new coin I made. If you want to buy one just like this, just head to the website and click Buy Silver. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.